It's again going to be the best set of skill position players for anyone in the country. And even despite the lack of experience at quarterback, Kyle McCord in particular, high on the Vegas boards for the Heisman Trophy because of what this offense churns out and the confidence that Ryan Day will make the right selection and they will just insert quarterback and he'll throw for 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns. But none of that happens without the offensive line. And of course, Ohio State looks to replace Luke Whippler, Paris Johnson, DeJuan Jones. And as is customary at this point in time, and you field more questions and comments from Buckeye fans than I do, they get concerned this time of year, who's going to play where, and these guys are inexperienced and so forth. But generally, everybody in the country deals with offensive line situations and trying to find that right combination and trying to find depth. And so this is pretty typical, but there are a lot of questions to answer.
This is, other than probably the quarterback competition, just because it is the quarterback competition, for me, this is the most intriguing question of the offseason, position battles of the offseason, is what this offensive line is going to look like. Ohio State was well aware that they were going to lose Paris Johnson. He was a 5-star kid. He came in, played his 3 years. That was always the path that they projected for him. DeJuan Jones was similarly, after what he developed into, was expected to leave after last season. So they knew they were going to lose their 2 starting tackles. They have planned to some degree for that. Josh Fryar, who was essentially the 6th man of the offensive line last year, has probably locked up, though he still has to earn it in spring, but will probably be one of the starting tackles. It was assumed he would be the right tackle, though Ryan Day said that the last time we talked to him that they were going to use him some at left tackle this offseason. Where they go for that other tackle spot's going to be interesting, and spring practice will have a big say on that. They have a number of guys who could play there, just not a lot of experience, and not guys that, like a Paris Johnson, jump off as like, that's your tackle, that's the next guy. So there's going to have to be some proving in that position, or Ohio State will be able to, depending on what's available, go out in the transfer portal, which opens for a secondary window for 15 days in May, and maybe land a tackle there. They were pretty active in the transfer portal when it was open the first time, trying to get, I think they offered 4 different tackles, and for various reasons, they were not able to land any of those. So clearly a possible position of need for Ohio State if the development doesn't occur. The surprising one of the 3 you mentioned there was Luke Whippler. And Ryan Day even admitted that he was a bit surprised that Luke Whippler decided to declare early. Now, he was a 2-starter at center for the Buckeyes, so plenty of experience there, but a guy who didn't exactly jump off the screen as a first-round pick. He played pretty well for Ohio State the last 2 years, especially this past season, but I think there was an expectation or a thought at least that he might come back and continue to refine his skills another year before heading to the NFL. So that opens a 3rd position battle that will have to take place this offseason. Ohio State did land an offensive line transfer in Viller, who played in the Sun Belt, and he is likely to get reps at center. I was originally under the impression that it sounded like he might be a guy that he has 2 years of eligibility remaining, might this year be a backup, and next year maybe step into a bigger role. Ryan Day made it sound like he could contend for that starting center spot right away. Jacob James, who won't take part in spring practice due to an injury, is another guy there. Matthew Jones could move there if they needed him to from guard. So there are some options. Again, they will just have to have guys step up. I think Victor Cutler's interesting because, yes, he played at a bit of a lower level consistently, but his 2 best games last year were playing at tackle, to be fair, but were against Alabama and Texas, if you kind of believe the metrics. So he's played against some real talent in those type of games. So he has some experience at that level. How he fits into Ohio State's offensive line and doing it on a week-by-week basis, we'll have to wait and see.